yeah, lots of. I think he's been a little bit unfair about stag, to be honest. It was interesting though that he comes home from a stag do and ends up in hospital. Many people would have done that. You know, we've heard stories, people who've been tied to lampposts and left overnight hypothermia. Maybe people high risk activities. Could have been doing paintballing, could have been quad biking, could have been doing bungee jumping. Martin injured himself 10-pin bowling. 10-pin bowling. What we did learn on that stag do was he did have a real skill. The way he was able to cradle a 10 or 12-pound ball in his hand and manoeuvre it with some skill, and he was also good at bowling. Martin, as he grew up, he was intelligent. I think it was Brian who mentioned that he was an intelligent man. He is an intelligent man, and he went to university. He went to Nottingham University. He was an imaginative child, very sociable child, great company, always great for a laugh. The obvious thing for a child with all those qualities to do, of course, is to study maths. Martin did study maths. Martin, I've learned this story in the stag do. Martin was president of the Maths Society. President of the Maths Society. In the third year, he says that the freshers, they swooped to join the Maths Society. Promise of trips. I'm assuming famous mathematical places, like the birthplace of Archimedes. London Mathematical Society, places like that. What did Martin organise for his Maths Society at the end of the year? A cheese and wine do. Now, that may seem a little bit lame, and a little bit flat. But what you have to remember is it shows two things, I think, about Martin as a character. One, it shows his generosity. You have to remember, Martin doesn't like cheese. And yet he was still prepared to get some Tesco value cheddar and some coffee from a carton. The other thing that I think it shows about his character is that Martin promises much, but delivers little. From university, Martin went on to be an actuary. I can't do any actuary jokes. No one can do actuary jokes. In preparation for this, Martin said, why don't we go on the internet and look for some jokes about actuaries? There's a page, honest to God, there is a page on there with jokes submitted by actuaries where there's a tagline across the top that says, it is not my responsibility if none of these are funny. So, I cannot say anything about it. All I can say is that no one knows what an actuary does, of course. But if you follow Martin's Facebook post, what you will have gained from that Facebook post is that what an actuary does, and what Martin's work seems to involve, is testing potato snacks, chocolate bars, and sweets. And that's all I know that he's done for 70 years. I did say to him, has there been any highlights in your actuary career? And he did mention the time 12 years ago when he moved offices from Red Hill to Rye. About 18 months ago, Martin spoke on the phone and he said he'd met somebody, which was a surprise. No, that's unfair. That's really unfair. I didn't mean it like that. I meant it as a surprise because as men, as lads, we tended not to talk about things like that. But he did talk about having met this woman, and I was thinking, maybe there's something here. We'd never met Chrissy, and then about 2 months later, he said, I'll bring Chrissy along to meet all the family at my sister's house in Cheltenham. Yeah. I mean, that's so cruel. That's no, I won't just speak one at a time. We'll meet everybody at the same time. And Chrissy came along, and during the course of that day, we had to go walking up a hill, as we always do whenever we go We're walking up a hill. She was dragged out into the garden to play tennis. At one stage, my brother-in-law, Andy, mentioned the fact that the garden shed at the end of the paddock needed moving. Only about 20 yards. So we all trooped up there, and Chrissy Ferret, all of us, we trooped up there and we moved a garden shed 20 yards away. Now, if I was Chrissy, I would not have gone near any of us ever again. I really wouldn't have. But what we found out on that day was, and it sounds ridiculous to say it because you think, well, how can you know? But we did know, and we knew on that day that Chrissy was the special one for Martin.